Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Is it just me, or is everyone on Twitter, YouTube, and StockTwits posting this trend line on Oracle on the weekly chart as if God came down here and drew this himself, and there's no way we are getting below this? I'm here to tell you that I got some bad news for you. I personally think that this will get broken down, but let's go back on a history lesson here. You know who else thought that a trend line won't break? The guy who drew this trend line. And the next guy who thought that a trend line won't break is the guy who drew this trend line with 2 touch points. And then there was a group of people who drew this trend line with 3 touch points and thought that would never break. And then most recently, somebody came in probably and drew this trend line, which was going well until we flushed below it and then found support and ran back up. Now, one thing you'll see that is common in all of these trend lines is that we came below it and then we eventually found buyers and then we started to make our way back up to all-time highs again. So long story short, the stock does break all-time high again because it is obviously the most deeply integrated company out there. I'm not bearish on the stock on the long run, but I am bearish on the short run just because of the fact that everybody thinks that this trend line will not break. Let me remove this previous one so we can have some clarity here. Now, given that we have seen about a 40 to 50% drawdown within last 5 to 6 weeks, we could bounce here, go sideways for a week or two, or maybe a month or two, and then eventually break below it. There's a chance we find bottom here and then come back up, but in my personal opinion, there is a very high chance that we go sideways here and then take out the lows from 2025, which is right about here. Because here's the thing, who is in the hurry to buy Oracle? Given their debt situation, there's nobody out there, there's no institution, there's no retail buyers that can keep the stock up. If we look at the fundamentals, their total debt is about 129 billion in total. Their free cash flow is sitting at minus 23.7 billion. Yes, they have a large backlog, which is amazing for the stock, good for them. I hope they get that fulfilled and Oracle will go on to become the trillion-dollar company that they should be. But what happens if these backlogs start to fall off? Because their biggest customer for that is OpenAI. And I don't know about you, but I don't see many companies jumping aboard to sign up for OpenAI. The only people I know that are using OpenAI right now is for either cooking recipes or fixing emails. They were the first ones, they were the leaders, but then now Anthropic is eating their lunch. So how much faith do you have that OpenAI will pay up and all of this AI buildup that's going on with Oracle gets paid? Now, in that case scenario, that's where the risk reward comes in, right? If the backlog comes through, if they do start making money the way they're expecting, this stock will reverse. And as I said, somewhere down the road, Oracle should be going back towards 350, and that puts them at about a $1 trillion valuation. And the upside is also not just 20, 30, or 50%, it's more than 2-3x. But as you know, my channel is not about finding good quality value companies that you can hold for 5 to 10 years. I'm here to tell you where the price will reverse instantly if they reach a certain zone. So let's talk about the key levels here, right? I already drew one level, which was the 2025 lows at about $118. I will create another low, which is at about $100. And believe it or not, there is a chance that we visit $82 area. I am in no hurry to buy Oracle for a swing trade or a long-term play because I've been in the market long enough to understand that there are people who were calling a reversal in Adobe from $300 to $400 area, and we just got an entry below $200 here just because we were patient and whatnot. So if we go back to Oracle, I'm telling you, believe it or not, there is a very high chance this stock pulls back to 120, maybe even $100 and below. But in case of OpenAI not paying up, we could see sub $80 prices. And again, I can say this with very high conviction that this trend line will not hold, and I'm not expecting it to. Now, let's go to a more important question. If you were an institutional investor who is trying to buy Oracle stock with billions of dollars, where would you enter your position? Because you need an event where liquidity is getting flushed out, You need an area, a zone where people are giving up on the stock, people are capitulating, and all those exits where people are exiting the stock and selling, you are the buyer who's coming in. And in that mispricing of the stock is where institutions build their position. So if you follow my channel, you'll see that I'm always looking for those liquidity zones. And the reason I think that the stock can reverse below 120 is because if the stock gets below this level, most people will start panicking and wondering if this stock is going to ever reverse or not. And that's where there is an opportunity for institutions to come in. It gets even worse and better for institutions if the stock gets below $100. Also, 100 by itself is a psychological number, and we can see some general support, some general buyers coming in there anyways. So overall, the company is trying to be a player in this new AI world. They are trying to improve their business model. They're trying to change their trajectory, which is a good thing. You know, this shows that they want to grow even after them being the behemoth of a company that they are. And all the other companies out there are trying to figure out where they sit in this new agentic world. So dollar cost averaging into this company is not a problem. But what I'm saying is that if you are trying to size into the stock like I try to do, this is not the best place to enter, and I do see a lot more downside coming up in the next few months. Because their success doesn't just lie in their own execution, it also depends on OpenAI, it depends on the markets, the interest rate, it depends on the bubble that we are creating with this new AI money. If the economy goes into a recession or a major drawdown correction, Oracle will get hit again. For all those reasons, I'm watching Oracle very closely. I'm going to wait for this setup and it will eventually form for a reversal. I don't know when, but I'm watching this closely. In a bull market, people forget how high a stock can go and how far a bull mania can continue. And in a bear market, people forget how fast the money disappears and how far down stocks fall before they find a bottom. So right now we're kind of in the middle spot. Feels like S&P 500 is halfway in a bear market and halfway not. Half the stocks are in a drawdown and the other half are carrying the entire market. So we are in very different times than before. So we got to be careful on how we allocate our money and how we move forward. So with that said, I hope you found some value in this video. Please leave a like, comment. Feel free to share your thoughts. And with that said, I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.